to thank all of you for taking the time to attend the October Grand Service here at Pearl Church. And thank you for your kind and sincere offers. I would like to thank those who have joined us on the live streaming today as well. Thank you very much. I'm sure God the Parent in Oyasama is really happy to see you all here today to have performed the service with joy and in high spirits. Tenrikyo started 184 years ago on October 26, 1838, when God the Parent, Tenryo no Mikoto, spoke through Tsugi Nagayama for the first time, saying, I am God of origin, God in truth. There is causality in this residence. At this time, I have descended here to save all humankind. I wish to receive Miki as a shrine of God. Shrine of God means where God resides.
本日は天理教が始まって184年目の10月26日大祭であります。立教の元始まりを振り返り、今一度皆様にどのようにしてこの道が始まったかをお伝えしたいと思います。天保9年1838年10月26日、親神天理王の御皇が親様中山美紀の口を通して仰せになった最初の言葉は、我は元の神、実の神である。この屋敷に因縁あり、この度世界一列を助けるために天下った美紀を神の社に村へ受けたいであります。神の社とは、神様が美紀様のお口を通して現れたもうたことであります。
Miki's husband, Zenbei, did not understand the revelation at first, but upon reflection he realized that this revelation was truly a serious matter for the Nakayama family and was most unlikely to be accepted by them. He hoped that God would withdraw.
保守の善兵衛は初めのほどは全くその意味を返しなかったが、考えるとこのお告げは中山家にとっては実に容易ならぬ重大事であり、どうしても実行できそうにないことである。お上がりくださいませと願った。
But God of origin would not accept his refusal, and Miki's tone became more and more severe, and her behavior more and more agitated.
元の神はどうしてもお聞き入れにならず、ミキの言葉はいよいよ厳しく、元の神のおぼしめし通りにするのや、神の言うことを承知せよ、聞き入れくれたなら、世界一列助けさそう。もし不承知とあらば、この家子もないようにする。
This discussion with God continued for 3 days.
この神とのお話し合いは3日間続きました。
Meanwhile, the strain and exhaustion on Miki, who was intently conveying the will of God day and night, neither taking food nor rest, increased visibly. Zenbei, fearing it might cost her life if the situation continued, finally concluded that there was no alternative but to comply. At 8 o'clock on the morning of the 26th, he accepted God's demand, declaring with firm resolution, I offer Miki to you.
一方、食事も取らず、床にも休まず、昼夜の別なく元の神のおぼし飯を伝えられるミキの緊張と疲労は、そばの見る目にもその度を超え、このままでは一命のほども気遣われる様子になったので、ついに善兵衛はここに立ってはお受けするより他はないと思い定め、10月26日午前8時、固い決意の中にミキを差し上げますとお受けしたのです。
At this, Miki's agitated behavior became quiet for the first time in many hours. And at that instant, Tsugi Nagayama was settled as a shrine of God. The mind of God the Parent entered into her, and she, revealing the divine will, began the ultimate teaching for saving all humankind.
この時、それまでの激しい様子以来、初めて静まり、中山美紀は神の社と定まりなされた。親神の心が入り込んで、そのおぼし飯を述べ、世界助けのための教えを始められたのであります。
Oyasama, who became the shrine of Tsugi at the moment when Zenbei said, with firm resolution, I offer Miki to you.
夫善兵衛さんがミキをあなたに差し上げますと固く決意した瞬間、親様は月日の社となられました。
The Pearl Church founding head minister, Reverend Tsugi Nagayama, made a firm resolution to return to Jiba, the place of human creation, and where Tenrikyo Church headquarters is located, whereupon she received a miraculous blessing of regaining eyesight after becoming blind from an eye disease. I would like to share once again, for the benefit of those who haven't heard her story, of her journey in establishing Pearl Church, and to refresh the memories of those who have.
このパール教会の初代会長である長山次先生がおじばに帰る決意を固くしたところ、目の病気で失明した次さんの次さんは奇跡的に視力を回復するというご守護をいただきました。パール教会を設立するまでの次先生のハワイ布教までに至るまでの話をまだ聞いてない方のため、また知っている方は記憶を新たにするためにもう一度お話をしたいと思います。
Tsugi Nagayama is the first predecessor of Pearl Church who began to believe in this faith. She was born on November 18, 1875 in Nagasaki Prefecture, Japan, on a small island called Ikishima, one of many small islands located between Kyushu and Tsushima.
長山次というこの方は信仰を始め、天教の信仰を始めたパール教会最初の前任者であります。彼女は1875年11月18日に日本の長崎県から少し離れた島で九州と対馬にある間にあります一木の島と呼ばれる小さな島で生まれました。
The people on this island were employed mostly in agriculture and marine products. However, due to the bad economy and the trend of the times, some people went to Korea and Manchuria as migrant workers. Tsugi married a person from the same town when she was 19 years old. However, her husband died 2 or 3 years later.
この島の人々は主に農業や水産業に従事しているのですが、しかし不景気と時代の流れなどから出稼ぎ労働者として朝鮮や満州などに出稼ぎに行く人もいたのだそうです。次は19歳の時、同郷の人と結婚。しかし 2,3 年後には死に別れたということです。
Leaving her hometown in Kyushu around 1905, she worked very hard to pursue her financial dream. She ended up as a peddler selling kimono fabric in Harbin, China. She took orders from a dressmaker, and she walked about selling fabric from town to town and the countryside.
1905年頃、故郷の一木の島を離れ、経済的な夢を追い求めて、厚木さんは一生懸命働きました。そこで中国のハルビンまで行き、着物の生地を売る行商人になりました。彼女は仕立て屋から注文を受け、町から町へ、そして田舎へと生地を売り歩いたということです。
The money she earned was nearly worthless at times because of the political condition and unstable economy. It seemed that Tsugi lived in China until about 1925.
しかし、次が稼いだお金は政治情勢と不安定な経済のために、時にはほとんど価値がなく、儲けは少なかったようですが、次は約20年間ほど中国のハルビンに住んでいたようです。
This is a recent photo, but it shows a building from a long time ago and gives you an idea of the atmosphere at that time. The city of Harbin was plagued by dust storms originating from Siberia. This seems to be the cause of bad sanitary conditions, and many people suffered from epidemics in those days. Tsugi as well suffered from eye disease.
ハルビンという町は シベリアから発生した砂嵐に悩まされていました。これが衛生状態の悪さの原因だったようで、当時は多くの人が疫病に見舞われました。次も同様に目の病気にかかり苦しんでいました。
The Tenrikyo teachings were conveyed to her at that time by Reverend Kichitaro Wada, a missionary of Tosei Church under Keijo Grand Church. This was in 1923, and she became a believer of the faith. Tsugi's destiny changed dramatically after this.
その頃、天理教の慶常大教会の教師からこの教えを初めて聞いたのです。これは1923年のことで、次は信仰することになり、以後運命が大きく変わるのです。
She was 50 years old when she got the eye disease. Physically, everything in front of her was blacked out, and it seemed as if her whole world was blacked out. She felt like she was at a dead end in her life.
次が目の病気になった時には50歳になっていました。眼病を患って先は暗闇で、彼女の目の前のすべてが物理的に全く目先が見えなくなり、人生に行き詰まったように感じたのです。
However, through her newfound faith, she made a resolution to return to Jiba, and shortly thereafter she received a miraculous blessing of being able to see again. She listened and learned the teachings. She understood her causality, experienced a spiritual rebirth, and wanted to start a new life.
しかしその後間もなくおじば帰りの心を定めるということで、再び目が見え、次は教えに耳を傾け、自分の因縁を悟り、魂の生まれ変わりを遂げて新しい人生を切り開いたと願っていました。
In 1926, Oyasama's 40th anniversary service was conducted in January of that year. Fulfilling her resolution, Tsugi was able to participate in the pilgrimage group from Harbin. 650,000 people returned to Jiba during this time.
大正12年1月、親様40年祭が執り行われました。次はこの年祭のハルビンの談祭に参加することができました。この年の帰参者は65万人がおじばに帰ってきたということです。
Tenrikyo was growing rapidly during this time. The number of churches doubled. The Tenri Foreign Language School was established, now called TLI, and the enthusiasm for overseas missionary work was intense.
この頃、天理教は急速に発展していっている時代です。教会の数は倍増し、天理外国語学校、今の天理語学院でありますが、それも創設され、海外布教への熱意が高まっていた時代であります。
That year, 1926, Tsugi entered the 37th Bekka class, which was a 6-month spiritual development course. Tsugi had learned a lot about the teachings. She became a yoboku, a Tenrikyo missionary who can administer sadhaki, and she made a resolution to become single-hearted with God and to the path.
海外での布教活動を重視した二代新馬車様の輸達第3号の影響か、人助けの御用をしたいと次は思うようになり、海外へ行くことを考えておりました。
Perhaps due to the second Shibashina's instruction 3, which emphasized overseas missionary work, she wanted to do salvation work and thought of going overseas. This is just speculation, but because Harbin, located in the northern part of China, was very cold, and she might have heard about Hawaii's endless summer climate, she probably set her mind to do missionary work here. これは私の想像ですが、次の暮らした中国北部にあるハルビン
ンは非常に寒いところであった。その反対にハワイは果てしなく続く夏の気候であるということを知って、このハワイで布教活動を行うことを決心したのでしょう。
After deciding to go to Hawaii to do missionary work, she asked her minister for permission, but the church she belonged to didn't know how to handle her situation since she didn't have any formal education. She couldn't even write her name. The grand church was at a loss as what to do with her requests, especially due to her lack of education and her age of 52, which would be around 1927.
布教伝道のためにハワイに行くことを決め、次は教会長さんにお許しを願いました。しかし次の所属する慶城大教会は無学無門の自分の名前さえ書くことのできないこの婦人をハワイ布教に送るのか、52歳になる高齢婦人の要求をどう対処するかと途方に暮れていたようです。
Tsugi then talked to her Vikka instructor and asked if there were other churches who might support her in her quest to do missionary work in Hawaii. The instructor said that there is a fraternity called Tengen, which might help her. At that time, Tengen wasn't a church. It was located very close to the main sanctuary.
その後、次は別科といって当時6ヶ月間の現在の修行科です。その別科に入学されていましたので、その先生に相談をし、なんとかハワイで布教ができるサポートをしてくれないかということを尋ねました。教官は、では天元と呼ばれる宣教所がある。そこで聞いてみたらどうかと言われたのです。当時、天元はまだ教会ではないのですが、距離的には天理教会本部のすぐ近くにありました。
She went there and met the first head minister, Reverend Asakichi Nakao, who would be my great-grandfather. He accepted her request with some reservations, but went to the overseas mission department and applied for her visa to emigrate to Hawaii as a missionary.
早速、次はそこへ行き、天元の初代会長である中尾朝吉さん、私の曽祖父にあたる方です。その方に相談をしました。そして中尾朝吉会長さんは、受け入れようという気になった。そして海外伝道部へ行き、布教師としてハワイに移住するためのビザを申請し、渡航の手続きを始めたのです。
Again, because of her age and being illiterate, they felt it would be difficult to send her abroad. So they asked her to live at Tengen followers' dormitory. In the meantime, to do hinokshin and missionary work while waiting for her visa. She agreed because she believed that by planting seeds of sincerity, she could realize her dream of going to Hawaii. In the evenings, Mr. Kazuharu Hora, a young man from Tengen, taught her reading and writing, as well as transcribing the Furisaki and Osashizu, and taught her the doctrine.
しかしながら次は52歳。やはり無学の独身女性を布教師を海外に派遣するのは難しいということになり、お許しが出るまで天元詰所に住み込み、ビザが出るのを待つ間、ヒノキシンをし、近くへ匂いだけお助けに歩いたそうです。誠真実の種をまくことで、次はハワイに行くという夢を実現できると信じていたので、一生懸命天元で勤められたということです。
During the 3 years before departing, she went to the overseas department several times to check on the progress of her visa. Due to the long wait, she suspected that something was not right. And so she threatened the Tengen head minister that she would commit harakiri in front of the Shimbashina's residence if she couldn't go to Hawaii, and also made fasting resolutions. The head of the overseas mission department said,
seeing her high motivation and enthusiasm, she might be able to succeed in her missionary work.
渡航までの3年間、天元でも伏せ込み、海外伝道部へ何度も足を運び、長い間待っていたので、何かおかしいのではないかと疑った次は、もしお許しがいただけないのなら、新橋立ての玄関で腹を切って死ぬと会長に言い、断食をして神様にお願いをしたそうです。海外伝道部の部長は、その次のやる気と熱意の高さを見れば、伝道を成功させられるかもしれないという話をされていました。
Finally, the visa was approved. She would become the first woman missionary to Hawaii from Tenrikyo.
そしてついにビザが承認され、次はハワイへの最初の女性布教師となりました。
We will continue part 2 of this story in next month's sermon.
では、大変長いお話ですので、ここまでで今月は終わらせていただきます。この次さんの布教、ハワイでの布教の話を来月に続けさせてもらいたいと思います。
As we can see from these two stories, Zenbei's resolution to offer Riki to God and Reverend Tsugi's resolution to return to Jiba led to the establishment of the faith and Tenrikyo Pearl Church, respectively. This month, on the occasion of the October Grand Service, church headquarters will be announcing the 3 years, 1,000 days leading up to Oyasama's 140th anniversary, which would be on January 26, 2026, exactly 100 years after Tsugi's first pilgrimage. As a seasonal time to make resolutions for spiritual growth and advancement on the path. Please take the time to make your personal resolutions that will bring joy to Oyasama, the joyous life, and salvation for all.
1838年、ミキを神様に差し上げますと決意された親様の夫善兵衛さんと、そしてこの長山次さんの千葉へ帰らせていただくという決意があったからこそ、今のパール教会の設立につながったのであります。10月はこの10月大祭教会本部は2026年1月26日親様140年祭を務める年にあたります。それまでの3年千日を何か一つ人のためになることをさせていただきましょう。必ず心が澄んできて、いい運命を導いていただけると信じます。
In the Sashizu, we read, If you go through the path of 3 years, you will never be in want, nor will you ever suffer. Well, this is November 7th, 1889.
お指図です。3年道通れば不自由症にも難儀症にも知られやせんとあります。
As long as you can go through the 3 years keeping your resolution with sincerity, God is promising us that He won't let you suffer or go through hardships. Thank you very much for your attention.
この3年千日、140年祭までの3年間を誠の心で通れば、不自由したくても苦労したくてもできないくらいご主語をお約束くださるというお指図であります。ご清聴ありがとうございました。
Thank you very much.